Hey there guys, I'm here today to review a book called All American Boys. This is written by Jason Reynolds and Brendan Keeley, so it's a book written by two authors, which is really interesting. And this is a book that I have heard a lot about for a really long time, but hadn't read. And I had to read this for class, and I think there are quite a few books that I've read that have been powerful for this class, and this is right up there with the top of them because this was such an incredible reading experience and such an incredibly well-crafted story. And Jason and Brendan really came together and just created truth in a way that was just mind-blowing to read. All American Boys, if you don't know, is a dual narrative story. One story is about Rashad. He is an African American ROTC kid, never been in a scrape up in his life, that kind of a thing. And he is at a grocery store and he trips and he accidentally knocks over a white lady, and a cop comes in and severely beats him because he thinks that he has been stealing. And it's caught on video, but Rashad doesn't resist. He just takes this beating and has to be hospitalized. And it was a white cop who did the beating, and naturally these things make their way onto the internet. It becomes a giant debacle about, was the cop overreacting? Why did he do what he did? Was Rashad actually stealing? That kind of stuff. The other narrative in the story is Quinn. He is a white basketball player at the same school where Rashad goes, and he witnesses the initial beating. And he initially just walks away. Turns out that the cop who did this beating is the older brother of one of his best friends who, after Quinn's father died, took him in, really helped to raise him and keep his family afloat. And so Quinn initially thinks, well, Paul, the cop, is asking me to stay silent, and so I'll stay silent because, he was just doing his job. It gets quite complicated quite quickly. Rashad's brother is a very big activist, and so he, starts a hashtag. He brings it to the forefront of media, and he's like, police brutality again, whereas Rashad's father is very like, no, this is not something you do. You play by the rules. Obviously, this political thing can't be happening. Just let it go. Whereas Quinn comes around to, being told by everyone around him, like, just stay silent. Paul's a good guy. And Quinn realizes, if I stay silent now, how many times will I stay silent later? And just both of them go back and forth, wrestling with different things inside of their community, wrestling with larger issues. Eventually there's, the choice to protest or not. Do you speak or not? And even Rashad is like, do I speak? Is this something that I should be doing? And Quinn is having the same issues for very different reasons for themselves within their communities. And it's just, I really loved the dual narrative of it because it gave it just such a life. Jason Reynolds is African American and Brendan Keeley is white, and together I could almost feel them as individuals speaking across the page and talking about the different worlds that they've inhabited and being very honest about, how the African American and the white world interact or think about the topic of police brutality. And that was incredible to watch, just that alone. And when you feel like two people are really having a meeting of the minds and having a discussion, and it's played out in a very amazingly written, fantastic way about a very serious subject, it's just incredible. So I would say that if you're enjoying The Hate U Give right now by Angie Thomas and you haven't read this one yet, I would so suggest that this is your next read as well. The Hate You Give is actually going to be my next read for the next Bibliomancy for Beginners book club at the end of February, and I'm really excited to see how that book interacts with my feeling about this book. If this is a topic that's feeling very prescient to you right now, as it should, and you really want to explore this through an amazingly well done book, then I highly suggest All American Boys. And yeah, it'll be a great reading experience, and I'm so glad that I finally got around to reading this, because it was nothing like I imagined it would be, and it was so much better. So yeah, that's my review of this one. Again, join us at the end of February for The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. And yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys. Bye.